Multi-million-dollar developer Ysrael isn't the only one criticizing the CoreTech contract approved by the Attorney General's office on Christmas Eve. As we've been reporting, GovGuam is looking to buy the property where the charter school and the temporary Ontalon Middle School sits. Ysrael calls the contract a boondoggle and, quote, "This looks like a scam." On Christmas Day, Ysrael addressed a letter to Governor DeCalvo and Committee Chair on Education Speaker Judy Wampat, who are both off-island. Ysrael cites an appraisal reviewed by Nick Captain, who saw the property sell for $11 million back in 2007. Captain, who was president of Captain Real Estate Group of Companies, tells KUAM when GovGuam announced it was going to lease the Teton facility at $5 million a year as a school, it struck him as unusual, which is why on 2 occasions he submitted a sunshine request for more information. The first was an appraisal report done for CoreTech, the owner, and in the second he saw a similar, if not identical, appraisal report, this time addressed to GovGuam. Although he hasn't done an appraisal or review of the property himself, he's concerned as a taxpayer.
But as a taxpayer, I don't understand why that they're agreeing to certain things, and I don't think they've done a very good job of communicating to the public, why they're agreeing to pay these prices and why they're accepting redirected appraisal reports and why they believe that the assumptions in the report are reasonable for purposes of negotiating a lease or a purchase.
And with the governor away, Ysrael continues to question who is, quote, making this horrendous decision on behalf of the government of Guam, adding, quote, "That's a lot of influence that somebody has," end quote. As we reported earlier this week, Ysrael even proffered a cheaper alternative to build a new central high school, saying it could be built for under $30 million under private supervision, which is significantly cheaper than the $254 million in tax credits CoreTech would receive if GovGuam signs the Teton deal. Also giving his 2 cents on the Teton purchase, Senator Mike Nicholas, who was addressing the Guahan Academy Charter School during a public hearing this morning. With the school up for eviction from CoreTech's Teton property earlier this month, Nicholas says it became clear what was happening behind closed doors.
It became apparent that the administration wants to go into a deal with CoreTech to acquire the properties. And then it all made sense to me because I've seen it several times already in my short time here in the legislature. The administration creates a crisis that forces the government into making a deal. And unfortunately, in this instance, we have the Guahan Academy Charter School being used as the victim to manipulate the government into going into a deal with CoreTech.
Nicholas further suspects that this was the plan from the get-go, as the Guam Economic Development Authority has been negotiating the CoreTech contract since August, but have only been successful days before the December 31st deadline for GovGuam to pursue its option to purchase. Nicholas is joined by Senator Ben Pangilinan in a release from his office. Pangilinan questions the inclusion of DOE ancillary facilities that bring the Teton price tag up by over $175 million. Pangilinan, who calls the Teton purchase a, quote, sweetheart deal, asked the superintendent to reconsider, adding, quote, "It seems the superintendent's support of this deal leaves our students last with regards to repairs and maintenance of the schools. If we have $175 million to spend, it should first go to improving our children's schools rather than building new GDOE central offices and warehouses," end quote. Pangilinan also expresses concern as the current lease agreement as amended between GovGuam and CoreTech would allow CoreTech to transfer or assign the tax credits to any private company it chooses. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.